Welcome back to the Mafia Archives, the channel where the real stories of power, betrayal, and survival come straight from the streets that shaped history. Tonight, we're taking you inside one of the most chilling moments ever to unfold in Harlem, a moment when a single sound or the lack of it rewrote the rules of the underworld. The 12th of September, 1958, just before midnight, the air inside Lennox Lounge was thick, with smoke, jazz, and quiet deals being made in low voices. At exactly 11:47 p.m., a man named Big Sam, a bodyguard trusted like family, wrapped his shaking hand around a pistol grip and prepared to change history forever. $50,000 had been put on Bumpy Johnson's head, a king's ransom at the time, and the contract had come from the most powerful criminal organizations in New York. What made it unthinkable wasn't the money or the plan, it was who had accepted it. Sam wasn't an outsider or a stranger. He was the man who walked beside Bumpy, who took bullets for him, who ate at his table and shared his silence. And that night, the entire future of Harlem rested on one pull of a trigger. Big Sam had been Bumpy Johnson's shadow for 5 long years, standing close enough to hear his breathing, close enough to die for him without hesitation. To the outside world, Sam was muscle, a towering presence who kept danger at a distance. But to Bumpy, Sam was more than that. He was trusted, relied on, treated like blood. That's why the 5 families didn't look for hitmen or reckless shooters when they decided Bumpy had to go. They understood something simple and deadly. The only way to kill a man like Bumpy Johnson was from the inside. Harlem in the late 1950s was a battlefield without uniforms, a place where money flowed through the numbers racket and power decided who ate and who starved. The Italian mob wanted Harlem's money, all of it, but every road led to one obstacle. Bumpy Johnson didn't just control territory. He controlled loyalty. He paid rent when families were desperate, made police pressure disappear, and pushed back hard when outsiders tried to take what wasn't theirs. Fear mattered, but respect mattered more, and that's what made him untouchable. By 1958, frustration inside the Italian mob had turned into panic. Enforcers failed. Bribes failed. Negotiations went nowhere. Every move against Harlem seemed to strengthen Bumpy instead of weakening him. Meetings were held in back rooms filled with cigar smoke and quiet rage, where powerful men admitted something they hated to say out loud. Bumpy Johnson couldn't be beaten head-on. The solution that finally emerged was colder, smarter, and far more dangerous. Instead of attacking Bumpy directly, they would turn someone he trusted completely. That name surfaced quickly. Big Sam, a man built like a wall, loyal by reputation, but human enough to have a breaking point. The mob didn't send a thug to approach him. They sent a collector, a man whose job wasn't violence but persuasion, someone trained to find the cracks in a man's armor. Every man had a weakness, and the mob was patient enough to wait until they found Sam's. The approach came quietly on an August afternoon, weeks before the night at Lennox Lounge. A black Cadillac rolled to a stop near Sam's building, the kind of car that didn't belong there unless trouble followed. Inside sat a smiling stranger with a calm voice and an offer wrapped in false kindness. Sam's instincts told him to walk away, to keep moving and never look back. But curiosity has ruined stronger men than him. 5 minutes turned into a conversation, and that conversation turned into a briefcase opening to reveal neatly stacked bills. $50,000, more money than Sam had ever seen in one place, and it came with a promise that cut straight to his heart. His daughter was sick, the hospital bills were crushing, the treatments were expensive, and time was running out. Loyalty didn't pay doctors, and pride didn't ease a child's suffering. The offer was simple and brutal. One shot, one moment, and his family would be free. Sam didn't answer right away, but the damage was already done. That briefcase followed him home like a ghost, sitting in the corner of his mind while he stared at the ceiling. Unable to sleep, he saw his daughter struggling to breathe. He saw her smile through pain she was too young to understand. And he saw the money that could make it all stop. 3 days later, Sam made the call that sealed his fate. He agreed to the deal, asked for half the money up front, and told himself he was doing it for his family. What he didn't know was that before he ever stepped into that Cadillac, Bumpy Johnson already knew someone had tried to reach him. Harlem had eyes everywhere, and Bumpy had built his empire on listening more than speaking. A parking attendant noticed a car that didn't belong. A license plate was written down. A quiet report was delivered, and from that moment on, Bumpy was 3 steps ahead. Bumpy Johnson didn't rise to power by reacting emotionally. He understood people, understood pressure, and understood desperation. When he learned that Sam had been approached, he didn't explode or order an execution. He sat with the information and watched. Over the next few weeks, he noticed things he hadn't seen before. The tension in Sam's shoulders, the shake in his hands, the weight behind his eyes. Bumpy could have ended the threat with a single phone call, but he chose something far more dangerous and far more effective. He decided to let the betrayal happen, not to die from it, but to expose it. He contacted a gunsmith he trusted and requested something unusual, a weapon that looked perfect, felt perfect, but would never fire. A silent gun, a click instead of a bang. This wasn't revenge, it was strategy. Bumpy wasn't just protecting his life. He was sending a message that would echo through the entire underworld. The switch was made quietly while Sam was away on an errand, his real gun replaced with a flawless imitation. Sam never noticed. Why would he? Trust makes people careless, and Bumpy understood that better than anyone. All that remained was waiting. On the 12th of September, Lennox Lounge was packed wall to wall with people who mattered. Politicians, musicians, hustlers, and businessmen filled the room, unaware they were about to witness history. Bumpy sat in his usual spot, calm, composed, discussing future plans like a man with nothing to fear. Sam arrived, steadying himself with just enough alcohol to silence his nerves. The gun sat heavy in his pocket, carrying the weight of his decision. When the moment came, no one questioned his approach. He belonged there. He always did. He closed the distance, raised the weapon, and pulled the trigger. The click that followed was louder than any gunshot could have been. Music stopped. Conversations died instantly. In that frozen silence, everyone understood something was wrong. Bumpy didn't jump or flinch. He finished his sip, set his glass down, and slowly turned to face the man who had just tried to kill him. The disappointment in his eyes was devastating. 5 quiet words fell from his mouth, words that cut deeper than violence ever could. He had known. He had always known. Sam's world collapsed in that instant, as realization hit him harder than any punishment. The betrayal was exposed, not in a dark alley, but under bright lights in front of hundreds of witnesses. Honor, reputation, and loyalty, all gone in a single moment. What followed wasn't chaos or bloodshed, it was control. Bumpy spoke calmly, revealing he knew about Sam's daughter, that the bills had already been paid, that help had been available without betrayal. The truth crushed Sam completely. Mercy followed, but it wasn't kindness. It was exile. Sam was ordered to leave Harlem forever, to vanish and never return. And before he walked out, he was given one final instruction. Tell the Italians exactly what happened. Tell them Bumpy Johnson had known. Tell them loyalty in Harlem couldn't be bought. That message traveled faster than any bullet ever could. By morning, the entire East Coast underworld was talking. Meetings were called. Plans were abandoned. A line was drawn. The Italian mob did something unheard of after that night. They backed down. Harlem was left alone, not because of fear, but because of respect for a man who played a deeper game. Bumpy Johnson lived out his remaining years as he always had, calm, calculating, and unbroken. He didn't die from a hit or a war, but from natural causes. In the same place where he had proven his power without spilling blood, Big Sam disappeared into obscurity, carrying the weight of his choice for the rest of his life. And that silent click at Lennox Lounge became legend, a reminder that the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun, but knowing what your enemy will do before they do it. And that's the story. If this moment in history hit you the way it hit Harlem, make sure you show love to Historical Mafia by hitting that like button and subscribing for more true stories from the underworld. Drop a comment and tell me, what would you have done in Bumpy's position? Mercy or no second chances? Stay locked in, because the next story goes even deeper into the mind of a man who ruled without fear.